Okay, we gotta have a little chat. A little frustrated right now. And it's not about the little scratch. That's from this little pup. But it's okay, you didn't mean it. She got sharp claws. It's beside the point. So I got a really frustrated, not even frustrated, I got a scathing email today from somebody who joined my program 45 days ago. And they're mad that they're not fixed. They're mad that they aren't pain-free yet. They've logged in 8 days out of 45. That's an average consistency of doing their exercises once every 5.5 days. It's 20% of the time. And there's no shame there, because I've had many 20% weeks. I've had many 0% weeks. Sometimes it was hard to just show up 10% of the time. So I get that fully. I truly get what it's like to be uncomfortable all the time. That was my entire 20s after breaking my back. Every day was terrible. And when you're in that kind of pain, you're irritable and you're angry and it's everybody else's fault, and you kind of just harden up and become very bitter and you push a lot of people away. It's really challenging not to project that anger outwards to everybody and anything. And it was my anger that made it really hard to see that I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. And I was the one sabotaging my process. I would hold everybody else to timelines that people would promise me when things would feel better and things would work and the outcomes would happen. I would always hold everybody to exactly what they said, but I never held myself to what I said I was going to do, which was show up and actually commit to something. And it was ultimately a lack of responsibility that really sabotaged this healing process for me for years. I felt like a victim, that this thing happened to me, that the ocean threw me on my back and that rock broke my back, and it was poor me for many years, and nothing changed until I accepted ownership that I'm the only person that's going to do this. I'm the only person that's going to pull me out from this rock bottom. I have to participate in my own rescue. And until you're ready to participate in your own rescue, and not at 20%, at least at 50%. Just, I know it's hard to show it fully. It took me years to even figure out what that means and how to do that. But 20%, it's not going to cut it. And I don't want you, I think the worst thing I could do, and I could have replied back to this person and said, yep, you're right. Hey man, it doesn't work. You tried 8 times out of 45 days. You gave it 20% effort. Movement is not going to help change your life, and nothing we can do to help. I would do a disservice if I didn't tell him exactly what I thought, it wasn't enough. You can't say something doesn't work if you don't try. And 20% is not trying. I know that can feel like a lot if you're always at 0%, and just showing up once a week is very challenging. I get that life. Like I said, I lived that life for a very long time. I know what it's like to be in that place. But we have to be honest about the place we're in and the effort we're putting into it. And the more honest we can be, the more accountable we can hold ourselves, that's the place in which things start to actually really fundamentally change. So I don't know who needs to hear this today. Maybe I'm saying this for myself, like I'm literally having that conversation from what I needed to hear years ago. I also remember how I reacted when the person that I was seeing, I was pissed I wasn't better yet, and I was mad at them, and they told me I wasn't trying enough, and I quit. I immediately never saw that person again. I was done. So I also get how frustrating that can be told when you're kind of trying, but then somebody who really knows what it takes says it's not even near going to cut it. That's not even close to what's needed to fundamentally change your life in this problem. It took me a very long time to look back and realize how right that person was. And I was still so mad I couldn't have reached out and said, you were so right years ago. I'm sorry I was so defensive. I just held that internally and just kept that to myself. So anyways, I digress again. I am I'm in your corner. I'm your biggest cheerleader and I'm your biggest fan, and I want you to win. I want you to succeed. I know what it's like to have a life where you feel like literally everything is stacked against you and you can't catch a break. I get that. I have poured my heart and soul into something that not only just saved my life, but it has evolved over the past decade to help over 4,000 people. But each and every one of those 4,000 people had to make a commitment at some point, whether it was on day one or whether they didn't really do much for the 6 months and then they started to commit. Everybody who is a part of that 4,000 lives change group had to be honest and make a commitment at some point or another. And brother, the person who sent me that email, I'm calling you forth to make a commitment because I love you and I care about you. I'm asking you to take another step, but all I can do is point. You're the person who's got to figure out if you're going to keep walking in that direction. All I can do is just guide you and show you the exact path that you need to take. It is and always has been 100% up to you if you are going to take a step forward and continually take a step forward. That's it. I talked so much she went to sleep. Must be that boring.